I'm still worried about what is that elite quality that Tua has. I haven't really been able to see it. Once again, year 3, this is the year that people start to break out. So maybe he has something that, we don't know about yet.
This is the real put up or shut up year for Mr. Tua. And you mentioned Tua, and I don't mean to throw him under the bus again, but I had an argument with our resident Tua fan because he tried to compare him to Josh Allen in his second year. And I said, listen, Josh Allen didn't have Josh Allen was more durable. Because one of my concerns was coming out, I think you remember, was his durability too. He had that hip surgery, and then Tua wants to also bring up, now they use the hip surgery again. Well, it's been 2 years, and he's been healthy enough where he felt he can be on the field. I'm sorry, I don't think that should be an excuse. If you can get on the field, you're fine. Willingly, if you're choosing to get on the field, obviously. And I just haven't seen many game-breaking plays. Even Josh Allen, his first 2 years, we saw oh man, he made not many guys can make that play. Whether it be his arm or his legs. Same with Russell Wilson in his early years when he was still in Seattle. Although he had a different role. He was just kind of more game managing, but every now and then make a play with his legs or with his arm. I haven't seen that much from Tua, and he's had Mike Gesicki, had Jaylen Waddle last year, and they've had some great plays like him getting into Waddle, and Waddle makes a play, but I haven't seen enough game breaking where, that was Tua, and only 2 or 3 other quarterbacks can make that play that he just made, and he did it. So maybe we will this year. Maybe, he'll finally have enough help around him to do so. So I guess all we can do is wait and see now. But like I mentioned before, in my opinion, this is year 3. Year 3, you should kind of start getting a better feel. We saw with Baker Mayfield, there were still the question marks, and now they're moving on from Baker. Josh Allen, year 3, he answered the bell. Obviously, Mahomes answered the bell by year 3. So this is the real put up or shut up year for Mr. Tua. I almost tried to say his last name, but I chickened out.
And I won't go super long on this, but at least for guys like Josh Allen and Russell Wilson, all these other guys who maybe had slower starts, you could see the elite qualities that they had. Josh, we knew he could throw the ball 80 yards.
He almost broke Michael Vick's record, his rookie, his rookie or his second year, where he almost had 3 straight 100-yard rushing games as a quarterback.
Right. And both years, I think it's even continued recently, but every single year he's had 7 or 8 rushing touchdowns. He's made big plays with his legs. We knew that he had one of the basically a top 2 arm in the entire league. If he could just get the accuracy and that kind of stuff under his belt, then he would be elite. And that's what he did. So we saw those elite qualities that he had. Even with Russell Wilson, he doesn't necessarily have the arm that Josh Allen has, but his ability to keep plays alive and scrambling with a terrible offensive line. It wasn't an excuse in Seattle. He's had one of the worst offensive lines his entire career, and we've never really heard anybody use that as an excuse for Russell Wilson playing poorly. So he had those elite qualities. Even I've also had arguments with our, Tua fan, and he's compared him to Dak Prescott. But at least with Dak, he doesn't necessarily have the arm that Josh Allen does or the ability to keep plays alive that Russell Wilson does. But if we think back to his rookie year, we saw his elite decision making because the guy went, I think, 8 straight games without throwing a single interception. He had the rookie, I don't know if he still has it, but at the time, he and Carson Wentz were battling for that rookie record of most consecutive passes without a turnover. And Carson Wentz eventually turned it over first, so Dak had the record. It might have been broken since then, I don't know. But so we saw these different things that okay, if he can figure out some of this other stuff, he can be an elite quarterback. I'm not sure what Tua has that's the case. You could say his completion percentage, but some people argue that the completion percentage means he's accurate. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think that means that he's good at putting the ball in an area that it can be caught, but that doesn't mean it's accurate. So when I think of accurate, I think of Aaron Rodgers putting it right on the money, stuff like that. So
Mahomes in the championship or in the divisional game, putting it right on the money. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Tyreek doesn't break a stride, even though it was perfectly covered, and he scored a touchdown because Tyreek never had to slow down at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm still worried about what is that elite quality that Tua has. I haven't really been able to see it. Once again, year 3, this is the year that people start to break out. So maybe he has something that we don't know about yet. And like you said, there's no excuses. They signed multiple offensive linemen. They got Tyreek Hill. They've kept Gesicki. They got a running game. They got a new offensive coach. They pivoted. They had a defensive head coach who's very good. They got to an offensive head coach now. So yeah, there's definitely no excuses.
So we will see what happens there in Miami.